I'd like to bring awareness to the African American Boyd Carter Memorial Cemetery located directly beside of Rockwell and Granny Smith Lane in Carneysville. It is caught in the crosshairs of Mountaineer Gas's pipeline and Rockwell's construction. There are several issues surrounding the cemetery. However, the most critical is the close proximity of Mountaineer's pipeline construction to the cemetery. We have documentation to support the belief there could be unmarked, possibly slave burials beyond the boundaries of the cemetery. This documentation includes a deed for the neighboring property mentioning possible graves along boundaries, as well as historical information supporting possible unmarked slave burials on neighboring properties, as this area was owned by the Dandridges, who were slave owners. There are 79 known burials in the cemetery. I'd also like to mention there are many veterans from several conflicts buried there as well. Also, Mountaineer's pipeline maps are incorrect. They label the cemetery being much smaller than it actually is, and the property lines they are indicating are incorrect. Many individuals, including Delegate Doyle and Brown, have spoken with the West Virginia Historic Preservation Office, SHPO, as well as the DEP and Department of Highways. None of the state agencies are moving to protect the cemetery or the possible unmarked graves beyond the cemetery boundaries. SHPO says since it's not on the historic register, there isn't anything they can do. Mountaineer has already cleared brush and have the trench diggers behind the cemetery. They will be digging soon. A stop work order should be issued to Mountaineer until a proper inspection can be made to detect possible graves outside the cemetery boundaries. On April 4th, I witnessed a contractor who I believe with Mountaineer back his truck entirely on the cemetery. I filed a complaint with the sheriff's office. The cemetery and the descendants of loved ones buried there are being legally represented by the law office of Arnold and Bailey. Arnold and Bailey sent a no trespass letter to Rockwell and Mountaineer Gas on April 4th. Without permission or notification to Arnold and Bailey, Mountaineer trespassed to install a fence on April 9th and 10th. Ground penetrating radar has been used on a portion of the cemetery, and there are several unmarked graves located inches away from the road and also where Mountaineer installed their fences. The cemetery and its descendants are not being respected. We as a community must stand up and protect and preserve the cemetery and any possible graves located outside the cemetery boundaries. We must support and rally around the descendants. I am available to answer questions this commission might have regarding the immediate issue of the pipeline construction near the cemetery and other issues surrounding the cemetery. In the near future, I would like to present a resolution of support for this commission to adopt. The resolution will be very simple, that this commission supports protecting and preserving the Boyd Carter Memorial Cemetery. And I have documentation that I was talking about.